Hey guys, Martin the Martian here to review the movie of the very first X-Men that has ever come out back in like 2000 or something. This last weekend I went to the flea market and they were selling a bunch of CDs really cheap, so I picked up X-Men 1 and then 2 and 3 is like back over there, but I've never seen any of the X-Men movies before and I thought I would check it out just to get caught up in the story because I know X-Men Apocalypse is already out by now, but I don't see myself going to see that. So don't be expecting a review from that because I'd be lost, maybe entertained, but I'd be lost. So I'm gonna review all these movies just to get myself caught up, see if I really do like it or not, and review them. Okay, so the very first X-Men, I'm just gonna call it X-Men. X-Men is directed by Bryan Singer, and it stars Hugh Jackman with a really big cast of X-Men characters and villains and such and such. Something I want to say up front is that the special effects don't really hold up in this movie. It came out in like 2000, so they're not really that great as they are now, but it kind of like it stuck out like a cold sore. So this movie already starts off with everybody recognizing each other. The X-Men know each other, the Magneto and Professor X and such. Like everybody's familiar. The only person that's not familiar would be Wolverine. And since he's the main character of this movie, we're seeing it through his perspective. So I guess it makes sense. You're seeing him experience all these things like the Professor X mansion and meeting all these new characters like if we're meeting them for the first time. Wolverine did a pretty good job in this movie. I mean, I've heard he's pretty great in all of them, but I'm checking it for myself. I think he did pretty good. Another two great characters in this movie would be Professor X and Magneto. Whenever they're in this movie together on the same scene, it's pretty deep and it's pretty heavy. And I thought that throughout this movie that the scenes where they were together were one of the best scenes in the movie. This is the very first X-Men movie, like I said, so it's not gonna have like every X-Men. There's like I don't even know how many. There's probably some I don't even know about, but it has at most three main characters that are X-Men, which would be Jean Grey, which has psychic abilities, Cyclops, which if you guys don't know, he's got heat vision, and Storm, which her power is to control the weather. And I thought they did pretty good. It's like they're not, you know, out there great, but were pretty good. And this movie does have a bit of a MacGuffin in the movie plot line, which is this girl named Rogue, which her powers is if she makes contact with anyone, mutant or not, that she'll take their power, and if they're not mutant, she'll just like take their life, and she can't really control the power, but because of her ability, it's sort of used as a plot device in this movie, and that can be taken as a good or a bad thing. I didn't really see it as a bad thing, but some of you might. But speaking of bad, there were about two characters that I did not like in this movie whatsoever. And that would be Sabretooth, and I think the other guy's name is Toad. They're supposed to be like these henchmen to Magneto, and I just really didn't like him. Toad, it was like just this weird guy that had a really long tongue. I guess that was his power. I don't know, but it was like it was kind of weird. And Sabretooth just kind of like acted like a beast. You remember Bane and Batman and Robin? How all he would do was like boom, boom, and like just say a few words, but at the same time just like moan and groan and growl, and that's pretty much Sabretooth in this movie. He just seemed like that muscle body in this movie that didn't really have any character to himself. And even when he did scream and growl like a tiger or whatever he was trying to growl like, it just didn't really match up. If you guys get what I'm saying, the audio to it. He would open his mouth and it'd be like or something like that. It just didn't really look great. Another henchman in this movie that was, I guess, I don't want to say third party, but she was another henchman to Magneto. Her name was Mystique. Mystique was alright. It's just that she kind of messed things up throughout the movie. Her ability was to shapeshift into other people, look like other people, I guess, and it's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, the makeup on her was pretty good. It's not like they, CGI'd all that, blue skin and everything. That was all makeup, and it looked great, but she wasn't bad. It's just that she barely had any lines in this movie. I want to see more Mystique, which I'm sure we're going to get more in the next movies. But Magneto, I need to mention, Magneto is kind of OP if you watch this movie. He can control metal. That's his power. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. Magneto's power is to control any and all types of metals, create electro waves, I think. But with that kind of power, just imagine all the things you could do. I could, like, play with this little thing right here, nudge it up and down. I don't know, like, turn off the fan. But the way he uses it, it's pretty cool. And Professor X's power is to get into people's minds, control their minds, read their minds, everything. Like telepathically, that's his power. telepathy. And if you guys don't know Wolverine, he's the guy that's got like the I don't have any knives on me, but he's the guy that's got the 3 claws coming out of his hand. He's got regeneration powers. I don't know if any of you guys knew that, but he does regenerate, so it's kind of hard to kill him. But he's pretty cool. He's badass. So overall in this movie, I don't want to say that it was a great movie, mainly because some of the effects don't hold up, and I didn't like some of the supporting villain characters and stuff like that. It weighed the movie down a lot, but it's not awful. It's just, you can bypass some of those things because it's little things that you can understand, because, oh, it's an older movie, you know, it's not really going to hold up as well. But stuff like the character development into, like, Sabretooth and Toad, I didn't like it, so it's gotta give it a bit of a negative breakdown. I forgot to mention this. There's this one line in the movie where Storm is she's fighting Toad and she's charging up lightning on herself, and this line is taken so seriously, but I literally laughed out loud, like LOL or whatever, and her eyes are all white because she can like control the weather. It happens, I guess. But when she's charging it, she's like, you know what happens to toads when they're struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else. And then and I just couldn't take it. Like, it just was weird. But alright, I'm gonna give this movie overall like a 2 out of 5. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not, you know, good or great by any means. And like on both sides, it's just meh. So alright, if you guys have seen any of the X-Men movies, let me know what you thought about those movies and this one in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.